Hello everyone, this is Wen-Jay Chao. Today, let's talk about the alignment locations feature. It is a new feature that was added since 10.3.0. If you're still on an older version, consider upgrading to the latest version from the Google Play Store or Apple App Store. The entry point to this feature is from the firmware page chooser. The last three page belongs to the Location Explorer category, and the alignment location is the first one among the three, and is also the most important one among the three. Simply speaking, this feature provides the easiest way to plan for an alignment shot like this one. In addition to the sun or moon alignment, it can also support alignment with a star, a nebula, a constellation, or a comet. So what is alignment locations? The alignment location feature is that you know the date that you want to shoot for a sun or moon alignment. The weather looks good, you have time to go, and you just look for the camera locations. If you're familiar with Planet, you know that there is a feature called the Sun Moon Finder feature. The Sun Moon Finder feature is that you know the location, then you find all the data time where the sun or moon gonna appear in a certain part of the sky. That's a perfect feature to plan for some of the alignment shot. The problem with the Sun Moon Finder feature is that you got a date. The date may be tomorrow, but most time it will be several months later or even several years later. In that case, you have to wait for the day to come. When it comes, the weather not working. You end up getting nothing after waiting a few years. So the people ask me, can you do a reverse search? That's why I did this alignment location search. The alignment location search will suggest some camera locations, considering the terrain. However, it doesn't consider the buildings or the trees or any other man-made object that might block the view. Which means you have to go through the locations and filter out those definitely not gonna work. Furthermore, you need to verify that you can reach the camera location safely and legally. And finally, some of the location is very close to the subject, others are far away. Some of them might be just next to the road, which is easy to reach. The other one might hike several miles to get there, or even some rock climbing. Which means you can choose the difficult level of each location. If the location is easy to reach, most likely to get more people going there, and if the location is hard to reach, then you probably will be there by yourself. In any case, you as a landscape photographer has a choice. Now let me give you a quick demo. To go to the alignment location search, you swipe down from the firmware page chooser and you select the alignment locations. If you haven't subscribed to the new feature, you need to subscribe first. Just click on the menu on the top left, and here you can see where the subscription entry point is. I'll subscribe right now and I'll get back to you. Now I have subscribed to the feature, and you can see here it says a tap to search. I can tap it. Here it says you have to set the scene location first. That makes sense because I need to choose the subject that I want to align. I'm gonna use the Los Angeles downtown as an example, and one of the tallest building in Los Angeles downtown is the US Bank Tower. I can just search for that here, or since I already subscribed to the 3D model feature, I can just tap here and browse a nearby marker where the US Bank Tower will be one of them. I can tap here to go to that location right away, and I make this one to be the subject location. The red pin means the subject. I'll do it again here, and it says I have to set the target height, which cannot be 0. It is 0 right now, so I just tap here, and I'm gonna click on nearby marker height. If you don't have a marker right now, you can just type in the height, which you can search on the web or whatever way you can find the height of that building, which is not that hard. Just enter it right here. In this case, I can just use a nearby marker height because the model has a height. I set it. I'll tap it again here. It asks me to download the offline elevation data. Since alignment location search uses elevation data, so it makes sense to download it now. Down. I can click to search. And finally, we'll get to this disclaimer page. It will only show you for the first time and it will never show you again. If you see the message, please read it and make sure you understand everything said. So just click continue to see the result. Now you see there are 56 results, and let me zoom out on the map just to see the locations. You can see all these dots. Other locations, I can have the sunrise which align with the US Bank Tower for today. So I can select one and take a look. Let me zoom in here. US Bank Tower is the one behind it, and you can see the sun is aligned at the center. You can see now how easy it is to find the location. Before I continue to show you more, I'll go back to the slide to show you some of the concepts here. In the demo, I use the US Bank Tower as my subject. And you can choose any building in your city as subject. Typically, it's the highest building, but sometimes it could be the most iconic one in your city. That's the subject. And for the subject, I also need to define a target height. And you need the target height on the top of the building. Then you count from the target to the ground. That's a target height. Once you define the target and the height, then you can remove the building. It doesn't matter because the target is just a point in the 3D space. It doesn't attach to the building at all. Here's another example. Let's say your city have two identical buildings. If you align just to one of the building, doesn't look good because the composition is out of balance. So you find them on the map, then you connect them with a line and you find a middle point. Then you use that as the subject. And then here you got a target head right there, which means this point or this target is not attached to any building at all. It's somewhere in the middle. There's no building at that location, but that still could be our target. And here's another example where we have this weird shaped building and it got an antenna on the top. Instead of put the target height at the top of the building, we can have the target right below the antenna. Or here you got two platforms, so we can use that as target as well. The next choice is alignment position, which means how you're gonna align the sun or the moon or whatever the star with the target. We have 5 different choices, and we got a one on the bottom, which means bottom of the sun align with the target. Then we got the middle, which means the middle of the sun align with the target, or the top. And for the bottom, I feel like I should introduce a little bit more here. So I added 2 more, which is the bottom 1/4 and bottom 1/3 that align with the target. The next parameter is the maximum elevation angle. Here's the example where you can see the terrain and you got the subject right here, and that's our target. And if I'm shooting from here, I can draw a line from my eye or the camera to the target, then to the sun, which is perfect line. That line, and if you draw another horizontal line here, the angle between these two lines are the elevation angle. So even though we say the elevation angle, what is most important is how far away your camera is from the subject. Let's say I move further away, of course this elevation angle here will be much smaller than this elevation angle. When we define what to search, we actually define what's the maximum one, which means how close we want to the camera to the subject. Then we search getting further and further until we can't see the subject anymore. So that's how the search works. Now keep in mind the subject could be high in elevation. It doesn't necessarily to be at the same level as your camera. In this case, you got a mountain here, and we got a subject right on top of the mountain. And in this case, the maximum elevation angle may be more than 6 degrees. The default value could be 12, could be 18. So which means if you are shooting a subject that is way high up in the sky, you need to change the maximum elevation angle. Otherwise, you will not get any result back. And finally, we got the subject visibility percentage. Let's say you got the terrain, there is a bump right here. When you look at a building, this terrain will block a view. This red line shows where you're gonna stop, which means if your camera is here, you can see the building from here to here. That's a visible part of the building. If the whole building is 100 meters and the visible part is only 65 meters, that means the subject visibility is 65%. Of course, in most cases, we want to be 100% subject visibility or even 90%. But in some cases, you just want to shoot the top of the building alignment with some moon or sun. Then it doesn't matter. Maybe 10%, even 30% will work just fine. So it really depends how you're going to shoot it. In the location we suggested, we will tell you what's the subject visibility percentage. As you can see in the previous demo, we show 56 different locations, and how to choose the camera location is also something you need to know. As I mentioned earlier, we don't consider building when we suggest locations, which means you need to find a location that without the building blocking. Of course, you can go there to take a look, but before you do that, you can just look at satellite map and decide which location are possibly working. So for example, you can choose the one that along the highway or along the river, because there can't be any high buildings along the highway and river. That's one choice. You can also choose a location that is opposite to a large body of water, such as lake, reservoir, or bay, because there can't any building on the water. Or it could be a lawn or golf course or sports field, like where there's no buildings at all. Another choice is you can do it on top of a parking structure, so those just some suggestions when you look at the locations on the map. You also want to choose some location next to the road or trail. The reason is some of the locations, especially for those locations that are on the mountain, there's no trail there, it will be hard to get there. So try to find a location along the trail first. If you can't find it, then you could go to the location and then scout for a way to get there. And you can use the Google Earth and the Google Street View to further refine those locations before you scout the location. Enough talk, let's get to a real plan. There will be a full moon tomorrow, so let's plan for that one. First, let's set the date tomorrow. And from here, you can see the moonrise time is at 6:57. At the moonrise time, let's take a look. The sun gonna be at -4 elevation angle, which is a blue hour. That means that moonrise time is perfect for a city moonrise. So let's switch to the alignment locations feature. First thing, we're gonna set the same location at the US Bank Tower. If you didn't happen to subscribe to the 3D model feature, you can subscribe to that. Otherwise, you can add your own marker here. It's simple as that. You add a marker at where the building is, then you enter the height and width of that building. Of course, with 3D model, it will be much more accurate, but you still can do that with a simple two-dimensional model here. And here, you're gonna select to be nearby marker height, and that's it. And here, I will set to moonrise and to be either bottom or bottom 1/3. I think the composition will look good. Then I'm gonna tap to search. And if you zoom out on the map, I can see all the locations here. Let me zoom into some of them and take a look. The first several locations are all in the city area. And in the city area, it's typically hard to find a location that works because all the buildings, very busy buildings. And if you get to the residential area, it will be slightly easier. So we can go through of them and take a look at each one. So for example, let's take a look at this one. So you can see here is the line that connecting from the camera location to the subject. But the problem is this line is not along the street. Otherwise, you can easily see the target. Whether I can see it now or no, I don't know. But we can use the street view to take a look. So just tap here, go to street view. No, it's not gonna work. So let's save those initial locations and find a location that might work. So here's a location that might work. If you can somehow get to the top of this parking structure, that might work. So for example, I set my camera location here, and I'm gonna add a marker to be a camera where I don't know how tall parking structure, but something like maybe 20 feet, I don't know. But whatever value here, you can set it, then you can take a look and to see what it look like. I'll make it to be 400 millimeter. and set the same location. Here you go. So you can see that's the bottom 1/3 aligned with the top of the US Bank Tower. I feel like this location should work, but you still need to do more research before going there, because you need to make sure in this space you can get there, and maybe you pay a fee, you can go to this parking structure. So that's one example I said about find a parking structure. Okay, anyway, in this case, I can mark this location and scout it if needed. Let's go further down here. So this is a good one. However, it sounds like this is in someone's backyard. May not work. So here's another one that might work. Depends whether you can reach this location or not. And I can see there is either wire or a fence somewhere here. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's go further down. See, here's another one, which is someone's backyard. I don't see any trails, so which means it may not be possible to reach there. Now, this one sounds interesting. Let's tap here to take a look. So you can see this color is slightly yellowish, not like green like the previous marker. The reason is the subject visibility is only 40%. Let's take a look and see what it looks like in 40%. Here's why. There is a terrain that is blocking part of the building. So if you slightly go to the left of that location, like right here, you're probably gonna have a clear view. So you can see that it's all clear. You can even enable 3D to, you can see the terrain that blocking is right over here, and it's not blocking anymore. And if you just change the time, you can see middle of the moon aligned with the top target. So that's fine if you're okay with this composition. I'm gonna mark this location. It definitely should work. I can even set a date here. Make to be a long telephoto lens. So here we got two locations next to each other. This one, as long as you can reach this location will work. And let's take a look. Looks good, right? And further down, there's another location right here. That should work as well. So I'm gonna mark those locations. I'll make a copy of that so that I can do a paste later. So coming here, in order to paste the marker at this location, you just need non-press the plus button, or you can select this location, non-press on this add a marker button. It's the same thing. So you can see it automatically copy paste. It's just a quick way to add a marker of the same category. So here's another one that definitely will work. As you can see, this is the last location. So in short, I found 1, 2, 3, 4 different locations. That definitely will work. And another location is at the parking garage. It's right here. 5 locations for tomorrow. I'll stop for now. There are actually more to this feature. When I get more time, I'll record more. That's it for today. Thank you for watching.